I'm Daniel Benton. I'm the global lead for Accenture's IT strategy and transformation practice. And increasingly we find as we do IT strategy work for clients, cloud is a really important part of each of those strategies. Every CIO needs a cloud strategy at the moment, I think for a number of reasons. Firstly, because actually cloud is just the biggest thing that's happening in technology at the moment, and a CIO needs a point of view, and it's now got to the stage where I think it's an integral part of any overall technology strategy. And the business, frankly, expects the CIO to have a point of view. But it's much more important than that. Actually, cloud gives now significant opportunity to reducing costs in technology, to increasing flexibility and so on, and the CIO really needs to consider how he can incorporate that to help to progress the business agenda. Most clients are already moving to the cloud at the moment, so cloud is already part of strategies. So talk about whether or not to move to the cloud is almost irrelevant now. The question is how far you go, and most clients are already exploring virtualization of their infrastructure, private cloud, also starting to look at software as a service and using things like Salesforce.com. So the cloud is happening. The question is how do clients take advantage of it, and what bets should they make about how pervasive it's going to be in their strategy going forwards. Cloud isn't just a technology issue, it's very much a business issue. Firstly, from the technology point of view, it gives you considerably more flexibility in your architecture to actually respond to changes in the business environment. But we also see it completely changing the way that businesses are thinking about themselves and actually re-architecting their business models. So if you think of something like iTunes in the media industry, or if you think of something like Zopa in the banking industry, those are completely new business models that couldn't have existed without the cloud being there. So if you're thinking from a business point of view about what your cloud strategy should be, you should be thinking about a number of things. Firstly, how can cloud enable flexibility and optionality within your existing business model? How can you execute smarter and faster, and in many cases cheaper? But also, are there just new business plays that you could potentially take and that you can add to your business strategy? And we see CIOs therefore very much seeing themselves as taking a role now in business strategy innovation. And that's not just new business models within existing industries, but it's also saying how can you potentially become part of the cloud value chain? Well, the first thing is that it's not going away at all in the short term. It'll be a long time before people have made cloud so pervasive in their architecture that they don't have legacy to worry about. So there'll still be a role for an in-house IT organisation, despite the learned academics writing papers to say that cloud means that you don't need one anymore. But it puts a huge emphasis, as far as I'm concerned, on the business-IT relationship. And from 2 points of view, the CIO needs to be in a position where he's actually helping the business to take advantage of cloud rather than getting in the way. And that means, because the business can now go direct to the cloud providers and buy services from themselves, the CIO needs to have the right people in place to drive the debate with the business about how they get the best value, and most importantly, how that can then get integrated into the existing corporate IT. So lots of emphasis, I think, on the business-IT relationship, because without that, the CIO will effectively lose control of the cloud debate with the business, and you end up with a potentially anarchic situation. When you look at cloud, one of the things that you start to think about is it's not just an infrastructure issue, it's not just a software issue, in fact it's about joining those things together. So it's actually about thinking about how does your whole architecture join together from a technology point of view, but particularly how does that link to the business agenda, what business solutions are in place, what's happening within the business at the moment, and how do you make sure that the cloud solutions that you're coming up with are giving the business the optionality that it needs. And from that point of view, I think Accenture is extremely well placed, because clearly we have strong knowledge of what's going on in the industry. We work with many of the biggest players in each industry, but we also look at this very much from both a software and an infrastructure point of view.